Welcome back to this full Excel course. Today's video is going to be about how to work with time formats. Link to the full series is in the description. Last video we talked about dates. I'd highly recommend watching that one first before you watch this one, because dates and times kind of are very similar, and times are almost an extension of the way we work with dates in Excel. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we want to know is how to write a time format in Excel. And the way we do that is to specify the hours. So we could say 11, and then we use a colon and specify the minutes. So always 2 digits here is best practice. So let's say 20, and then seconds, let's say 15 seconds. So Excel will now recognize that as a time format. Another way to specify a time format is to use the time formula. So we can say time, then we can specify hours. So let's do 13 hours, 30 minutes, and 10 seconds. So this is in a slightly different format to this. The way we can change formats is Control-1. That will open up the format pane. You can also come up here and go more number formats. Now if we enter this time section here, we have a number of different time formats. So let's put it into this format, which is similar to our first one. And while we're on the topic of formats, just like dates, we can pull out times in other formats by using the text formula. So we want this value, and whenever we specify a text format, we have to do it in quotation marks. And when we do it like this, H is going to represent hour, M is going to represent minutes, and S is going to represent seconds. So we could say hour, minutes, seconds, for example, and that will remove all of the colons. I could put the colons back in, for example, and if I wanted to specify actual letters, I could use backslash to escape those. So backslash H would give me kind of an H after the 11. So 11 hours, we could say backslash M, so we can escape kind of the meaning of those H's and M's there and write it however we want. So there may often be times where we kind of want to remove these colons, not have the seconds, and just display something like this. We might want a space between those, so it's kind of easier to read. So now we know how to write times in Excel and format them to how we want. Let's talk about going the other way and pulling information from a time. So just like dates, where we use the day, month, year formulas, we can use the hour, minute, and second formulas. So if I say hour of this time, it's going to tell us it's the 11th hour, this is the 13th hour. I could also use minute, so minute from this time. And I could use second, so second from this time. So now let's talk about calculations on time formats. So underneath Excel, let's just inspect what these look like. So if we go general, these are actually small decimal values. And what that represents is the proportion of a day. So 0.47 is just before half of a day, and half of a day is 12, and we're at 11. And knowing that unlocks all of the calculations behind time formats. So just like dates, so if we type today's date, we can actually type equals now to get today's date and time, and just close brackets. And that is going to give us 13th of December, which is right now, and 12:40 in the afternoon. So if I show this as a general format, what you'll see is it's the 46,004th day, and we are 0.52 of the way through that day. So that's really what is happening underneath Excel. And because times are down to hours, minutes, and seconds, this decimal point can actually be really long, as you see here. And we'll talk about why that's important later. But for now, bear in mind we're working with very long, small decimal numbers when we work with time formats. So now that we know that, let's try and do some calculations with these time formats. So if I wanted to know how long is between these two time formats, I could do one minus the other, and I'll get it in the specified format. There's 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 55 seconds between these two times. That's correct. What if I wanted to know just how many minutes in total are between these two times? Well, that's actually much harder. But since we know this is a decimal underneath, and this represents a proportion of a day, all we need to think about is how to convert from days to hours to minutes to seconds. So 1 day is 24 hours, 2 days is 48 hours. So to get from days to hours, we times by 24. So let's just put this in brackets so that we're calculating correctly. And let's times it by 24. So let's go back to general format. That is how many hours are between these two times, 2.16 hours. We can times by 60 to get to minutes. So again, it keeps reverting to this time format because it thinks I'm trying to write a time, but I just want general. So there's 129.91 minutes between these times. And again, we could multiply by 60 again to get it to seconds. And that is most of what you need to know about time formats. However, there's one more tricky thing, and that's where we overlap days. So because these two times up here our kind of 0 point, really that's thinking we're on kind of 1st of January 1900. So if this was 1 day forward, we would need to plus a 1 to it. So let's say +1. So now it will still display, let's just get it into the other time format. So format like that. So it will still display like this, but because we know it's on an extra day, now if we do one time minus the other, we still get 2 hours, 9 minutes, 55 seconds, but that's not right. There's actually many more hours between this. And if I go to general, we'll see we get the 1.09 like we did before. So let's do the same thing now, where we can times by 24 and times by 60. Well, let's just times by 24 to get hours. Put it back into the general format, because Excel thinks we're in a time format, and we see there's actually 26 hours between these days. Now you might wonder, well, why are you showing me that now? Let's get into some example real questions, and you'll see why that's important. So the first example I want to give is from a case file called Sleep as a Sport, and basically we want to know how long somebody sleeps for, and we give them a sleep score. And there's various things which affect their sleep, like the dog barking and waking them up and so on and so on. But the first question is simply, how many hours did they sleep for? So how many hours are between these two times? There's their bedtime, there's their wake time. So if I just did one minus the other, so there's the wake time, that's the later time, so the bigger number, and there's the sleep time, it's not going to work. We get 0. Really what we're getting is a small decimal number, because these themselves, remember, are fractions of a day. So what we actually need to do is +1 to the second day, because it's a day after. So that's exactly what I just showed you in the blank version of Excel. So now in a decimal way, we're 0.66 of a day, fraction of a day. So to get it to hours, we just need to times it by 24. And then you see, again, Excel thinks I'm trying to write a time format. I'm not. Let's get it in the general form. That's how long they slept for each day. So you can see it's not intuitive to just minus and plus times. You need to think about it in this way. Now let's go to my favorite example of working with times, because this will bring it all together, and that is this case here. Now you don't need to know the details in full, but basically we're working with the probability of finding different animals at high tide and low tide, and the tide cycle is 6.5 hours. So the first tide on day 1 is at midnight, the start of the day, 12 AM, and then 6:30 the tide changes. And because these intervals of 6:30 don't line up to a full day, we get this kind of odd time cycle. And the second question is the one I want to focus on. So all it's asking is, at a given time, how many minutes is it until the next tide? So let's pull this table down here so we can work with it directly. So at 2:59 AM, we know we're somewhere between 12 AM and 6:30 AM, so it's about 3.5 hours between the next tide. So let's build this up. We want to find the next biggest number there. Remember, these underneath are actually proportions of a day, and so are these. So we want to look for XLOOKUP, this number in this list, and return that list, but match the next largest item, because the exact item is not going to be there. So this fraction here represents the next time where the tide changes. So it's always going to be bigger than this number here. So to find the difference, we just need to minus this time off of it, and this is the proportion of a day, i.e. how long to the next tide. So we need to now convert that to minutes. So again, from days to hours is times 24, from hours to minutes is times 60. So this is how many minutes we are to the next tide. But hang on, we've got 2 questions wrong. Why is that? Well, again, it's this whole +1 thing on the days. So this 2 AM is actually in day 2, but there's no day 2 specified. So we need to increase this to reflect the fact it's the next day. So where this is 11 minutes past midnight, the next largest item is no longer 6:30 PM, the next largest item is 2 AM. So that needs to be 1 day plus 2 hours. Now this is in an awkward format to +1 to it. I can't just +1 here. That won't work because we're mixing formats in the formula bar. So we know that's 2 AM. So let's use the time formula as we showed earlier. Time, we're 2 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, and we want to +1 to it, so +1 day to it. Now you'll see it's fixed our questions. Oh, it hasn't fixed this one. And that's a bit interesting. Why is that? Well, earlier on, I mentioned that we're working with very small decimal numbers here, because these are only fractions of a day and we're getting down into minutes, seconds, hours. So we start to work with really small numbers. If you watched my very first videos about fundamentals and numbers, then we know that Excel can only calculate to 11 kind of significant digits. So if we just try to go into the decimal here, we can see it's actually 81.99999, and that's just a result of poor rounding. So what we need to do is round this to 0 decimal places. So round this whole thing to 0 decimal places. And now we get 82, which is correct. So we can collapse that back out, reformat it how this one is formatted, and we get the right answer. So to recap, when working with time formats, remember if a time is in the next day, make sure you add that day to it so that your formulas work correctly. Remember that times are just decimal numbers representing fractions of a day. And for safety, if you're calculating hours, minutes, or seconds from these time formats, always round to your desired number of decimal places. And that is it, nearly done with the data section of this whole series. Next up we have colours, and then I'll show some example solves, just like I have here, for some more general problems, before we move on to the next section, which will be modelling games, such as board games, card games, dice games, and so on. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.